Hi! While I've been busy being occupied, I'm pretty sure you've heard a little show called Hazbin Hotel. And honestly, it's okay. I mean, I watched it and I'm not here to do a review, but it's okay. But it's garnered a huge fan base, and lately I've seen a lot of redesigns, so I thought it'd be a little fun to try to redesign some of the characters because some people really don't like them. And to be honest, I don't really blame them. Now, not that the character designs are horrible or anything, I just think, well...
What?
Alright, let's get started. Today I did two. I did Rosie and I did Charlie. But we're gonna start off with Rosie. So, for Rosie, there actually wasn't a huge change that I made when redesigning her. When I was watching the show, she struck me as someone with a lot of charisma. And if you watch the show, you'll see it. Like, you know what I'm talking about. But I was looking at her design, and the only thing that kind of matched her personality was her hat. So I felt like I just needed to add more, especially to the dress. So on the Wikipedia, I had saw, and I don't know where, because I saw it when I first scrolled through it, and then when I went back, I couldn't find it. They had said that her style was Victorian, but I was looking at her dress, and it really is not Victorian. If anything, it's late Victorian and kind of an Edwardian style dress. So what I did is I obviously started off as a sketch. I just did a basic pose, and let's see, yeah, I did the pose, and then I started to build upon her figure. I just added more details, so I went with the big fluffy sleeves, and I actually decided to change how her dress was because it is a little confusing. I wasn't really sure if she had a jacket on, and I did not understand what was going on with the whole neckline situation. I don't know if that was accessory or a different part of the dress. So I made it like a 4-layer kind of situation. So she'd have her normal, the underneath part, which is just the fluffy top, and then just a basic shirt, and then over it would be the corset, which I actually thought, since she was part of Cannibal Town, that I'd make her corset out of bones, because for some reason she strikes me as a person to not go waste any resources she has. So I had read somewhere that they use the bones and the extra bits that they don't eat into furniture. So I thought, why not use it as part of her outfit, and then on top of the corset is the jacket. Obviously, as the reference pictures, you can see the jackets. That's more of the Edwardian style there. Just added a little eye pendant because I thought I would bring out more of the cannibal side, because when you look at her, yes, you can kind of see the old-timey Victorian Edwardian era. That's pretty obvious. But I wanted to add more of that cannibal-esque trait to her and made it a little bit more obvious. So I gave her eyeball earrings, but I had an idea that those eyes are actually hers, and I thought it was fun. Anyways, when I was doing let's talk about the hat. When I was doing the hat, I actually made the lace kind of flat, but I had drawn teeth in them to kind of call back at the cannibal thing. And then on top, usually you'd see flowers on top of the hat. I don't know if the feathers were really a big thing, because that kind of reminds me of a different period. So I did use flowers on top of her head, and they were meant to look like a brain. So in the end, you can see that I colored it pink, but I added another big tooth and then a skull to it. I also added a big ass feather on top of her head on the hat, and I made it like wave all the way down, kind of mimicking hair. I thought that since her personality is so big, that I think this feather would go nicely with her character, especially since the form of her dress is so inwards and then it comes out on the bottom. I thought that the feather would like balance it all out, kinda. But she is very top heavy. as in the hat. Anyways, so for the bottom of the dress, I tried to make a little gradient. I tried to tone down her colors because I don't know, I really did not like the bright pink that was used in her design. I feel like it was not very Edwardian style or a Victorian style at all. So I toned it down a little bit, just desaturating it, kind of keeping all the colors fleshy. And I get that they're in hell and that their color palettes are supposed to match with their environment, but it just was, the bright pink was a little too sceney for me, like, you know what I mean? I did end up coloring it all by hand, and I didn't use the filling tool just because of the brush that I used, and it did take longer, but I think it looks nicer that way. As for her other accessory, sorry, this is kind of all over the place, I'm just kind of spouting what I see on the screen. As for her accessory, it's quite literally a flesh umbrella. I thought that would be kind of a funny thing to add. So you can see that the handle and then the lining is made out of bone. Not quite sure what kind, but I thought it would also be a nice call to that she is a cannibal. Right now I'm just doing the background. I tried to play with texture with her dress. I tried to make it look silky, but I tried to add a pattern and it really didn't look as nice as I thought it was going to be. No, I just deleted it. I just deleted it. Anyways, I feel like that this came out really nice. Is it basic? Kinda, not really. I feel like the details play in really nicely with each other, and I think it's a big improvement from what previously she was wearing before.